We kind of laugh about it, but that's absolutely what's normal today, is to try to show everybody the me that we want them to see. And people are literally, they're creating social media moments. In other words, like, I feel pressure to post something, therefore I need to do something exciting, therefore I need to get the right angle, I need to have the right caption, I need to have the right hashtag, I need to put the right filter on it. And literally, the more filtered our lives become, the less authentic we are. And what's happening is there's a generation of people coming up. Number one, they're afraid of unfiltered communication, meaning they text rather than talk. And so when you're in text, you're always in control. A big portion of this audience today, if I called you and you would let it go through to voicemail, you'd listen to the voicemail, then you respond with a text, okay? Some of these people go to my church. I hope they pick up, actually, if I called them. But the reality is, this is the norm today, is that I don't want to talk because I'm not in control. And so you've got people that were being trained to present kind of a fake self. And so we've really got a generation that doesn't really know who they are. And basically, people post a picture and they want likes. How many likes did I get? And so we talk about people are living for likes, but they're longing for love. And they're really longing to be loved as they are. And there's a phrase now, psychologists, they call it deferred loneliness. In other words, I feel a little empty right now, so I want some attention. So I'll post a picture, and then hopefully people will give me some feedback. They'll give me a comment. Ooh, I like your shoes. Oh, girl, you look so pretty. Whatever they're going to say. And so what it does is it gives me a false sense of meeting that need, but I'm deferring loneliness to later on. And so I'm still empty. I've got lots of online activity, and yet I'm still empty on the inside.
That's right.
And so we really talk in a whole chapter about, comparing. There have been veils or filters for years and years. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai, he put on a veil not to protect people from being touched by the glory, which is what I thought for years, but really to keep them from seeing the glory was fading away. And so, in a very real sense, that was an older version of putting the filter on. And so we really try to get honest and say, where are the filters, or where are the veils that we're wearing, and not showing people where we really are. And so, yes, we're going to connect on FaceTime. Yes, I'm going to follow you on social media because I can stay in touch, but I'm not going to settle just for screen to screen when God wants us face to face as well. Loving is not liking a post. Loving is caring for a person. And so we really want to help people engage in that true, intimate community that God wants us to have.
Is there something wrong with Betty and me that we appreciate texts from grandchildren or children, our friends, but we really like to hear from them? We really want to talk to them. Is there something wrong with
Nothing wrong with that, no.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with you at all. I understand that.
I think, texting is the language of the day.
Yeah.
But after a while, we're all going to recognize we're missing something.
Yeah.
There's something about tone of voice. There's something about vulnerability. And so, yes, I text all day long. My 20-year-old daughter moved to another city. I want to hear her voice, and I want to ask questions. So you can take conversation to a more intimate place that way than you can otherwise.
That's right.
And if you don't have that voice connection, that conversation connection, it tends to hide any sensitivity you could have to that person. You don't know necessarily if as they're texting, they're weeping from a broken heart, or they're struggling with something.
Some people almost joke that in a marriage, you text you're dating, then you get married, like, we got to fight, we need to go in the other room and text this out. Because it's kind of a joke, but the reality is that I met with a group of 25 and under staff members, and I wanted to spend the day with them asking questions. And so we talked about, do any of you fear talking on the phone? And a lot of them, I really do. So explain this to me. And one girl said, well, for instance, if I'm going to call to order a pizza, I get nervous, so I script that out. And because it's, I'm so nervous. And
why are you nervous?
Try not to look like, And so I asked the group, I said, so how many of you would be nervous calling for pizza? And this was just, 25 or so young adults. And about 75% of them said that would be out of my comfort zone because they just haven't done it.
Isn't that crazy?
And that's so there's so many different ways that social media, they're helping us relate and stay connected. We know that. But there's so many unintended consequences that are really important. In fact, one of them I think is important to what you're doing is there was a study University of Michigan did over a 30-year period of college students, and they found that over a 30-year period that people actually care about others 40% less. And you can Google this study online. It's fascinating how they came to it. Basically, I care what other people think. I care about their feelings. And anyway, there's a 40% decline. And the same period is a rise in social media. And what the theory is behind it is that there's really three aspects why we care less. One is because we're consumed with ourselves. About 80% of social media involvement relates to me. How do I feel? What is the dopamine release in my brain when you like my post? And so it's really turning us toward ourselves. Secondly, everything on our feed is in the same line. In other words, there's grandma's guacamole for recipe for guacamole. There's a funny cat video. There's someone who got beheaded in another part of the world, and there's someone deflated a football. So it's all equal.
See.
And we don't know. Our brains can't discern which one's more important. And so we're desensitized to knowing what's really important. And then the third issue is that it's easier not to care when looking at a screen than it is when looking at a person.
That's
For
right.
example, when you show the
contact.
video of a child who's hurting and you see the mom crying, that impacts me. If I'm there, I'm never the same. Ever the same. Ever the same. Because I can smell the smells, I can hold the baby, and that just totally wrecks me. And so we have to understand that, just liking a post is not showing love. And we're in a world where people are becoming more obsessed with ourselves. Jesus did not call us to love ourselves, but to deny ourselves, to take up a cross and to follow him. And in a world that's becoming selfie obsessed, God calls us to something greater. And that's why I just have to say again, on behalf of our family, we thank you because we supported your ministry long before we knew you personally, because we believed in what you were doing. Then 7 or 8 years ago, we got to know you personally and support you all the more because we know you up close and see the integrity of it. But that's why I love what you're doing so much, is because you're caring, you're helping us show compassion,